morning, and welcome to Bumblebee Junction. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you can't tell, behind me it is ringing, and it has actually been ringing all day. And I think that maybe it's time to have a little fun in the kitchen, and Mark is gonna go in and use one of his giant cast iron skillets to make a little something special with some of the green beans that I've been picking lately. So let's get in the kitchen and see what he's up to.
Alrighty guys, we're in the kitchen now, and you get me today instead of Tina, so we're going to be doing a lot of offhanded things. So not real big on cooking from recipes and stuff, but we did make you a recipe card. We're going to be making these Chinese buffet style green beans. They're a favorite of Tina's, and guys, we just really enjoy them. There's a couple different ways to make them. I'll explain that as we go along. We got the big cast iron pan out, we got our beans nipped off, we got our garlic thinly sliced, and we are ready to go. So let me get you a couple pictures of those recipe cards, and then we'll get on with making these green beans. Alrighty guys, we're going to jump right into this thing. We're going to go ahead and get our burner set to medium heat, a little bit, somewhere between medium and medium high. And we're going to go ahead and add our oil. Now the oil calls for 1 tablespoon. So we're going to be doubling the recipe. We're going to double that up to a couple of tablespoons. And we're going to be using pure sesame oil. Now, as a substitute, you can use peanut oil, but we're going to go ahead and we'll add a couple of tablespoons, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. We'll add a couple of tablespoons of sesame oil, and we'll go ahead and get that started warming up. But that's not going to take real long, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is adding the garlic. I'll bring you back when this oil gets warm, and we'll show you that. Alrighty guys, we've got our sesame oil heated up, and as you can tell, you may be able to see the smoke coming off of it. Sesame oil has a real low smoke temperature, so we got to move fast from here on through. We got our 4 heads of garlic. It only takes 2 heads for the recipe, but we're going to go with 4. This thin sliced. We'll go ahead and get that off in the pan, and what we're going to do is just lightly brown it. And that only takes about 20 seconds. So, not a big time investment here at this step, but you'll see it's already starting to off color just a little bit, and it'll continue to brown as we go along. But we want to give it a chance just to get those edges. You'll start to see some discoloration and stuff on them. We're just trying to get them just slightly brown. That right there will about do it. You can see some color from frying on them. I'm not sure if you guys, the camera's picking it up, but they're starting to get little fry marks on them already. So what we're going to do is we're just not going to pause at all. We're going to go ahead. The next part of the recipe calls for 1 pound of beans. We've got a couple pounds here, so we are going to add these in. This is a big skillet, so don't be surprised at what you're seeing here. It'll make for a lot of beans. But we're going to get these in. We've got the oil in there. And we're going to stir these around and just get them to start to tenderize up. And you'll see they'll get a little bit of a blister to their skin. And you can probably hear them frying away in there. So guys, let me get these cooked down. It takes about 5 minutes. And then I'll bring you back and we'll go on to the next step. Alrighty guys, time to jump back in here. Hopefully you can see that the beans have darkened up. They do that when they cook. They're starting to get just slightly tender. You can see they're not quite as stiff as they were when we first put them in. But they're starting to discolor. If you can see, they've started to take on some of the colors. Let's see if we can do this. See if you can see that. Oh, lost a bean. Alrighty guys, but that's where you want them. They're going to start picking up the color from the semi-scorched oil and the garlic cooking in there. But that's exactly how they should look. Look like you're cooking them in a pan with something that's trying to burn. So a lot of times they'll do these over higher heat in a wok. But we just got the old cast iron pan. So we're going to keep going with this recipe. The next thing on the recipe calls for some oyster sauce and about 2 tablespoons. So here's your oyster sauce there. Now if you don't have oyster sauce, you can mix equal amounts of hoisin sauce. Let's see, I might have some here. Here we go. This is hoisin sauce. You mix that in equal amounts with soy sauce. You'll get a slightly sweeter result than doing it with oyster sauce. But we're going to go ahead and use the oyster sauce for today. We need about 4 tablespoons. And of course it's thick as mud. So we'll go ahead and put exactly 4 tablespoons on here. That looks like 4 tablespoons to me. But now we need 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. So that's going to mean doubling. We're going to need 4 teaspoons, which means we're going to make a lot of noise and sprinkle some soy sauce over that. Now the last ingredient, since we're using the oyster sauce, you don't do this with the hoisin substitute, but since we're using oyster salt, you throw in about a teaspoon of white sugar, and not much, because it really doesn't need it. But let's go ahead and start giving this a stir. Hopefully you're being able to see that color coming up on them now, more like you're used to seeing at the buffet. But this will take several minutes to get them to cook on down to a really tender state, which is where we want them. Not super tender, kind of like al dente. But we'll go ahead and get these cooked down. I'll bring you back and show you the end result. Alrighty guys, we're coming down to it, and what we've done is we've cooked the beans until they're pretty well tender, and all we're waiting on now is them to pick up the last of the sauce. We can see down here wet in the bottom of the pan. That's also thicken up and stick to the beans, and we are just about there. If your beans start looking like they were drugged down 40 miles of muddy road, that's about what it ought to look like. So not the prettiest dish in the world, I'll admit, but really good. One of Tina's favorite at the Chinese buffet. So, alrighty guys, that's looking like we're about as close to done as we're going to get right now. So I'm going to let you guys off here for just a second. I'm going to get the beans put over in a bowl, and then we'll see if we can get Miss Tina out here for a little taste test. Alrighty guys, we got our beans all transferred over here to the pot, and I wanted to give you a look at them so they can see what they look like when they're done. And then we've got Tina out here. She's a eager beaver and trying to get in here and taste test the beans. So we'll span up to her and let's see what she thinks of them. We'll back out here so we don't. What do you think?
Those are good.
You like them?
Mm-hmm.
Let them see you. What do you think? Tell everybody what you think.
Very good. Yeah.
All right, you like them with the sesame better than the little bit sweeter, or the little bit more traditional like we got here?
These.
You like these better?
Yeah.
All right, these are a little more like the restaurant beans, but we've made them sweeter with the hoisin and soy combination and the sugar, and they're just not the same. So they're good enough to eat, but these are just like you get in the restaurant. So, alrighty, tell everybody bye.
Bye.
All right, we'll get out of here with one last shot of the beans. Alrighty, guys, we'll zoom in here one last time. Take a look at these beans. There you go, the Chinese style buffet beans, and they are Miss Tina approved.
Yes. Okay, so that's all the footage that we have for today, and yeah, this is so good. That's absolutely one of my favorites, and you usually find them on the buffet at the big Chinese buffets, and yeah, they're so good. But yeah, he must really love me. Anyway, made for a really fun project for the afternoon, and pretty tasty lunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. It's still gonna rain for the rest of the day, and I think we get thunderstorms tomorrow, and the high today is like 63. So it's really nice and cool, but it's a little too wet outside to do much. So we had to kind of find a way to have a little bit of fun in the house, but I also want to have a little fun tonight and make a big mess of fried chicken. So I need to go in there and get to work, and yeah, he's a really good cook, and that was absolutely fabulous. But there's a lot going on behind me, but I just set the camera this way so you could see that it was raining today. Wow, that's a lot of school buses. Okay, you don't see that every day, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to ring that little bell. It'll let you know when we're cooking up something else fun and fantabulous in the kitchen. If you have any comments, questions, anything at all on your mind, any kind of suggestion, please put them in the little box below. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope that today's video finds everybody safe. The rain behind me is actually the remnants of, yet again, another hurricane, or, yeah, I believe it was a hurricane. I'm not sure if it actually got out of tropical depression status, but we know that the South is currently getting an awful lot of rain, and there is an awful lot of flooding, and there are still wildfires raging, and yeah, we hope that we find everybody safe today. But I am going to have to go ahead and get on out of here as yet another school bus drives by behind me. But don't forget, we love you, and we'll see you in the next one.